Welcome to Math Time with Mrs. Depperschmidt. We're starting into Chapter 3 now, so this introduction will give you a good start as we learn to multiply and divide large numbers by a single digit. Please remember as we go on some of the important things about multiplication and division. First, multiplication is repeated addition using groups of. 8 times 3 has the same meaning as 8 groups of 3. And I've illustrated that here with 8 threes added all together. You'll be really fast with your multiplication if you've got the basic facts memorized and you know that 8 groups of 3 are 24. Next up, it's important to know that division is repeated subtraction using groups of. For example, 16 divided by 2 means to subtract groups of 2 away from 16 until no more groups can be subtracted. You probably know in your mind that 16 divided by 2 leaves 8. And if you count all the 2's I've subtracted here, you'll see that that's exactly how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 groups of 2 make 16. When you're dividing, it's the opposite of multiplication. For Chapter 3, it's also important to realize that skip counting is exactly the same as repeated addition. We could also say it's the same as multiplication. If you know your skip counting patterns, you'll be really good at this. This example shows groups of 5 repeatedly added on, starting on the number line from 0 over here, 5, 10, 15, and 20. We start out with one group of 5, two groups of 5, three groups of 5, and so on. And as those are added on, we have our multiples, which is why we call it multiplication. Remember that skip counting is another way to figure out multiplication problems if you haven't memorized all your facts yet. It will take you longer and be cumbersome, so it's always better to have your facts memorized. When we're talking about division, remember that when there are no more equal groups that can be subtracted, any amount left over is called a remainder. In this example, 13 divided by 5, we're starting out by subtracting equal groups of 5 from 13. When we do it once, the amount left is 8. We can subtract another 5. When we do it again, the amount left is 3. And we know that it's impossible to subtract one more 5, so we have 3 left over as a remainder. That's going to be important too as we divide with higher numbers. Make sure to realize that place value matters. Pay attention to the columns. Remember that regrouping may be needed, both when you multiply and divide, just as it is the case when you add or subtract. And here's last is a little trick, something you might not realize, but we'll be using expanded form to help us multiply larger numbers. This is an example of the expanded form for 4,675. We take it apart into all its different places: the thousands, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. And we can multiply each separate part and then add all the results together to get the answer. All of these tricks and tips will help us as we move into this chapter about multiplication and division. It would be great for you to practice your multiplication facts, because the faster you are, the better you're going to like this next chapter. I hope you're having a great day. Please be kind. I'll see you at school.